People are really proud of West Heidelberg. It's really started to pick up momentum. It's got a lot to offer. It's very close to all the facilities, the shops, the community health centre, schools, and I think it's been overlooked a lot. A lot of people haven't realised what a jewel it is.
We're so lucky here in West Heidelberg. Our community is like a great big family.
I think it's a very strong community. So the people who've lived there for a very long time are very proud about being in West Heidelberg.
So in 1956, the Olympic Village was obviously needed for the Olympic Games. So through the mid-50s, the projects to build houses in West Heidelberg occurred without many resources, just the houses. And post the Olympics, significant numbers of people moved into the Olympic housing, which had become public housing stock.
It does have a very unique history in terms of how the area was originally built, the housing model, the sort of makeup of the area. There's been some big changes in this area in terms of its demographics.
So it's a really diverse community now. The Somali community have settled, the people from Sudan and Afghanistan and Burma, compared to the 1960s and 70s where it would have been an Anglo community.
It's the second largest Somali community in Melbourne is in Banyule. So it's a very beautiful community, and that's what we call it, Somaliberg.
West Heidelberg is an area that has a high proportion of public housing, and like other areas, that brings with it some challenges. So neighbourhood renewal is one way this community has worked to address some of these challenges to make the neighbourhood better for everyone.
When neighbourhood renewal was announced for West Heidelberg, there was an incredible excitement in the community about the opportunities it would bring to West Heidelberg, the improvements. I think our first 1 or 2 meetings had about 75 people in a meeting, so it was almost an impossible meeting because there was so many people in there, but there was so many ideas, so much interest, so many different groups within the community coming together.
People talked about the need for community infrastructure. There wasn't enough spaces for people to meet and gather. There was some safety issues were raised, concerns around people's health, and also the need for employment and opportunities for employment.
I was one of the key signatories of Neighbourhood Renewal, and they all gave us butcher paper, and we did a bit of a wish list. And I can remember very clearly thinking, this is a list from heaven, you know, if we could get half of these stuff, we'll be happy. And I think we have got about 60 to 70% of it. Our first event together with Neighbourhood Renewal was decided to do a barbecue together. Buna Reserve was picked because it was one of the worst places. There was a lot of tension in the court with the residents and stuff like that, and the park had been let run down and was in bad way. When we highlighted that and had our barbecue there,
The Somalis came out, the Australians came out, and they mixed. And that was the first time that had ever happened. So we just felt so proud, didn't we?
We did, yes.
It was a really good day. Once we had the barbecue and the people got together, they felt empowered to be able to say what they would like done to the area. And we ended up with a community garden out of that.
I made some seeds, tomatoes, plants, and capsicum, and even zucchini sometimes.
It's a challenging thing to mix cultures and make people feel like they can interact without offending, and so the garden is a perfect example of that. We're all working for a shared purpose.
You know, I recently made pies for dinner with silver beet grown by Betty, who's grown her silver beet in the community garden, and that's awesome.
A lot of people talked about the value of community gardening as promoting community cohesion, shown to increase surveillance so people feel safer, community connectedness because people are sharing their information and coming together around the planting and the harvesting of vegetables. It's a very welcoming community, and I think that's something which, from a pride and participation perspective, needs to be fostered and to continue.
This community is accepting you. If you can contribute to this community, if you're a good person, good bloke, good Sheila, whatever, that's all we ask.
Mileage was a mental health group, and what we did in the 4 years that we were operating was alleviate that stigma that if you've got a mental health issue, you're not alone, you're part of the community. So We did things like we had forums, information days, barbecues. I was really proud to be involved in that and to be asked to be chairperson.
It's good seeing local residents being on all these different committees, giving their opinions out too, and not just the big snobby bosses, you know, from the city and that don't know the people, you know.
I think the days of agencies setting up programs because they think they're a good idea, I think is changing. I think much more the future will be about engaging with communities and helping to develop the sorts of programs that they understand their communities are needing.
So Neighbourhood Renewal, we're involved. We're on the ground and we're all working as a team. It's not us and them, which is what you want.
It makes me feel proud with how I'm helping the community as best of my ability. And I just love it because I'm very passionate for 3081.
Today's called International Women's Day, and the women of West Heidelberg has run it today. It's been going for 7 years, I think they said today.
Not only did we work on Women's International Day, but we'd get together on a Thursday and we worked on projects. We were knitting squares, we were knitting blankets, we had trash and treasures, we raised money. It was bringing women together.
More than just coming along for that day, it was the development of friendships. There was a closeness in the group.
A big issue in the community was a lack of community infrastructure, so there's limited spaces of where people could gather. The health centre was fantastic as a community centre, but it filled up fast. So 155 Oriole Road was made available to the community by DHS.
The hub is a number of groups and people who access the site. We have youth programs, we have Walk with Wheels come through, we have a sewing group every Wednesday. We have quite a few different groups coming to use the space. And the most famous one of all, of course, is the IT hub.
The IT hub commenced in middle 2008. Of that original group, there is still 6 volunteers still working at the IT hub.
What the IT hub has offered is that open access idea where it's available 11 till 3 every day of the week. That is for everybody in the community.
The community are coming here all the time for consultations, for advice, for support. They use our computers, our emails. So it's a way of linking with the community.
We've seen our role of bringing an employment and training perspective to the work that's gone on within Neighbourhood Renewal. People who've come into the hub in particular, who've been able to use the IT, the computers, but more importantly linked to staff who have helped them with resumes and job search and work experience and connect them into those early starting points of getting work. Similarly to Olympic Adult Ed, who've had that very strong training role.
Olympic Adult Education has a long history in West Heidelberg. An example of how we've supported the communities with the 3081 Pathways project, which was linking in with training and employment.
I was actually just going through the paper one day and there was an ad there for Banyule City Council. They said they were renewing Malahang Reserve. Gave me a bunch of different skills that I wouldn't have had if I hadn't have been on the project. Upon successful completion, would be guaranteed full-time employment with the council. And yeah, I thought that would be, a really great starter to, try and have a stable career.
We done the concreting in the park. Doing some concreting was very different for a girl to do, but it was quite enjoyable in the end, learning how to do the boys' jobs. From there it turned into a full-time job.
The biggest physical thing I think we achieved was Malahang Reserve, which was basically a rundown open space with a few bits of playground equipment in it. Now it's a vibrant place and a pleasant Sunday afternoon. You can't get a car park. It's a meeting point for a large number of people, and people have pride in it.
Amazing to see families coming out and enjoying the Malahang Reserve, the mix of cultures that you can see there.
There's so many people in there that the guys that actually mow the grass in that park now have to go up there first thing in the morning to try and beat the kids and the mums up there.
As the physical spaces have changed and improved, the community seems to have come together much more and respect their property much more.
And use the property much more,
yeah.
because they feel safe. And now, if you start doing graffiti down there, one of the teenagers will pull you up. So the teenagers have even taken ownership of it. So it's really amazing.
As far as pure statistics go, crime rates are down in Heidelberg West, which is pleasing. Whilst we still have some issues, I think it's great that the police can be involved in neighbourhood renewal, certainly at my level, but I would love it that some of the people that work for me can start building some relationships with the residents of Heidelberg West.
Give me a high five though. Good work.
Things have happened constantly. I would say now we've done hundreds of different projects. We've been upgrading the Olympic Village, and we're glad to see that improving.
The shops in the Olympic Village, they were very run down, always graffitied, and very low tenancy rates in them. But they did a lot of work there once we again put a spotlight on it. Council came along and neighbourhood renewal. They managed to paint the shops and do a lot of work with the traders, and now most of those shops are let, they're running. They put a new playground in the front. They did a lot of extra work, and it's much safer there.
Well, we're here at the Olympic Village today, taking part in the community market. It's great to see the community getting together and enjoying the local area.
It's a lot more work than what you'd expect. There's a big council application to put in and a fair bit of storeholder support too, I think more than a regular market, because it really is a community event. And that's the aim of the market, is to revitalise the community. And I think it's really working.
It's beautiful to see that people that are making things in this local area are finding an outlet. It's about feeling a sense of belonging in this community.
When I heard what the basic mission statement for the choir is, basically make noise and have fun. Can't get much more low key than that. It was an interesting idea to me because I'd already been in a choir, but it was quite a high performance choir, and having a physical sort of illness at the time, I was finding it a bit hard to sort of keep up with that, so I was looking for something a little bit more laid back.
Mama singer, ha, ha, ha.
Anyone who wants to come in off the street is welcome. Because I have medical appointments here, this choir's made me feel like part of the community. People see me here now and they say hello, and it's nice.
I actually was really quite touched by the significance that singing and the opportunity to come together and broadly the arts could mean to people. So for me it really reshaped my lens around that. A sense of family, a sense of oneness, focus on wellness, not illness, and laughter.
I first became involved with the choir from the day one that it was set up. The actual social part of it, of actually making new friends in all the events and the gigs we've done, it's just opened up doors.
As long as it keeps going, it'll always be successful because it will always have that nurturing environment. I'm in love.
10 years ago, if you'd asked me, would neighbourhood renewal continue after it's 10 years, I'd say probably not. But the residents are very keen to have it to continue, and that speaks volume for their confidence in the whole process.
I think it's scary because we've already had everything in place, and once they move out, we're going to be standing on our own feet. But we've got all our contacts and we've got all our groups and committees and people. Yeah, I think we'll be right. We're better equipped, I think, than other areas.
We will still go ahead because we've had the 7 years to build a foundation which we can build on and continue on with what we've been given.
There's been some great initiatives put up by Neighbourhood Renewal. But I've seen real positive changes in terms of, I think, community pride and involvement.
The vision is that it will continue, and I really believe it will. I honestly do, with the different people in the community, and they're all really, really serious about making sure that this continues. Not under that whole Neighbourhood Renewal banner anymore, but it will belong to the people of the community, and I think that's the main thing about it, which is the most exciting thing about it. It will belong to the people.
Heidelberg West Neighbourhood Renewal.